All right, if you're in B2B marketing, you've probably felt this deep in your bones, right? The way buyers make decisions has just completely changed. The old playbook, the one where we just explain what we do over and over, it's just not cutting it anymore. So today we're going to break down a whole new framework designed for this exact problem. It's called the Decision Cycle Compression System. And the big idea here is moving from simply explaining your offer to actively advancing your buyer. And this slide right here, it just perfectly frames that core shift. For years, our websites have basically been digital brochures. They just sit there and say, hey, here's who we are, here's what we do, give us a call when you're ready. But this new model, it flips that completely on its head. It's not about explaining, it's about advancing. It's a system designed to help a buyer make real progress, not just passively consume a bunch of information. So why is this change so urgent? Well, to put it simply, the old website is just structurally broken for today's buyer. It was built for a totally different era, an era when buyers came to your site to be introduced to your company for the first time. But as we're about to see, that's just not how they show up anymore. I want you to really think about what this means. Buyers have already done their homework. A lot of times, they're using AI to get summaries of the entire solution landscape before they even think about clicking on your site. So they don't land asking, who are you? No way. They land asking these deep, decision-level questions, trying to figure out if a serious conversation with you is even worth their time. And that massive misalignment is exactly the gap this whole system is designed to close. It's a structured response. It's built to meet buyers exactly where they are, smack in the middle of their evaluation, and help them move forward with a sense of confidence and, most importantly, clarity. So let's get specific. The official definition here is absolutely crucial. It's an ecosystem. Your website, your content, your tools, all working together. And its purpose is incredibly specific: to cut down the time, the uncertainty, and the friction that happens before a salesperson ever gets involved. Because, let's be honest, that's where most of the momentum is lost, and that's exactly what this system targets. And just to be crystal clear, let's talk about what this is not. It's not just a fancy new name for a sales funnel that's all about the company. It's not a lead gen system that's just obsessed with capture forms. And it is definitely not a content calendar. No, this is a buyer-centric architecture, and it is focused on one thing and one thing only: buyer progress. Okay, so how does it actually work? Well, the system is powered by this framework that maps out the buyer's journey through 5 distinct lenses of progress. And you can think of each lens as a critical moment where momentum is either created or completely lost. And here they are: trigger, question, friction, experience, and progress. This is basically the roadmap for how you actually compress that decision cycle. So let's walk through each one. First up is the trigger. Now, this isn't a demographic, it's an event. It's an activation moment. It's the moment the HVAC unit fails. Again. Or it's a CEO who sees a competitor showing up in AI search results, and their own company is nowhere to be found. The very first job of this system is to align directly with that specific moment of pain. Okay, so once that trigger fires, the buyer has a burning question. And it's not what services do you offer, it's something way more specific, like, how do I get my company to show up in those AI recommendations? Or, is my current website actually costing me sales? This means your content has to answer that specific question first and foremost. Now, the third lens, friction. Oh, this one illustrates the real problem so brilliantly. Friction isn't a buyer saying no. It's the accumulated weight of all those little unresolved questions and the unclear next steps. It's that feeling we've all had that, yeah, I'm interested, but I'm not quite certain enough to book a call. That ambiguity right there, that's what kills momentum. The fourth lens is experience. You see, the old passive experience is that digital brochure we talked about. But the new active experience, it's a guided evaluation. It uses tools, quizzes, and calculators to help buyers assess their own situation against your framework. It helps them think more clearly, instead of just dumping more facts on them. And finally, we have progress. This is the ultimate test of the whole system. It's not about engagement metrics or how much attention you got, it's about advancement. Did your website, your article, your tool, did it actually move the buyer from a state of uncertainty to a state of resolution? Are they genuinely more ready to take a serious next step? Because really, that's the only metric that matters. So you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but is it really that necessary? Well, the short answer is yes. The rise of AI has basically shifted this whole thing from a nice to have to an absolute necessity. The game has changed, and this system is how you adapt. In fact, there are 3 specific massive shifts driven by AI that make compressing this decision cycle totally non-negotiable for anyone who wants to stay visible and competitive in the years to come. So here they are. First, AI systems are the new front door. They're the gatekeepers for how buyers discover solutions. Second, buyers show up with tons of general information from AI, but, and this is key, they aren't anymore ready to make a specific decision. And third, because of those first 2 points, having clear, structured, question-resolving content is now a massive competitive advantage. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? If your website is filled with vague marketing speak and generic descriptions of your services, AI systems are just going to look right past it. To be recommended, you first have to be understood. Clarity is now directly tied to visibility. It's that simple. So it all comes back to this one fundamental choice. Are you building a digital brochure that's designed to just explain what you do? Or are you building a buyer progress system that's designed to help people actually make a decision? That mindset shift, it's everything. And the consequences of this choice are pretty stark. As the source material puts it, the companies that don't adapt will just keep on explaining. Their sales teams will keep doing all the introductory work the website should have done in the first place, and their sales cycles, well, they'll stay just as long and inefficient as they've always been. And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to think about. It's the one every single B2B leader needs to be asking themselves right now. Take a hard look at your digital presence, your content, your tools, and ask yourself honestly, is it just explaining, or is it truly advancing your buyer? The answer to that question is going to determine your future.